Hey everybody, Sam Kavaris in the Nimnik Chevrolet Video Sports Update. Jaguars off this week, obviously, the bye week. Comes at a good time for them, I think. And everybody down there obviously agreed that they really needed a time. Mike Mularkey brought up something interesting, that if you take all the preseason stuff and all the things that they've done, 5 games into the year literally is the halfway point of the entire season. So the Jaguars at 1-4 come back to take on Oakland at Oakland, and then Green Bay at Green Bay, and then home against Detroit the first weekend of November. Winnable games? It's hard to say every time you look around. I mean, look what happened on Thursday night. The Titans, who supposedly stink, ended up beating the Steelers. A lot of it depends on the situation, how those teams play that night, that day, and it really is that close. Everybody seems to think that the Jaguars are undermanned, and in some situations they are, but we have seen them have success, and it'll be interesting to see if they come back with a renewed attitude and an opportunity to not make mistakes. And that is the primary thing. I think that if you're going to take something out of the first half of the season, or the first part of the season before the bye week, it's that it's hard enough to win in the league when the opponents are people like Houston and Chicago, and then it's doubly hard when you're trying to beat them and your own mistakes. You just can't do that in the NFL. And when you do that, you get beat. And it's pretty simple. So they're back to work on Monday. The Gators should not have a letdown against Vanderbilt. And Will Muschamp says that this team has gotten more mature as the season has gone on. Obviously played well against LSU. And they'll be severely tested against South Carolina and against Georgia. To me, that's the thing. Florida State shouldn't have any trouble with Boston College. Although, of course, we didn't think they would have any trouble with NC State either. It's hard to tell whether or not the Seminoles just aren't as good, aren't mature enough, don't have enough experience in those kind of situations. Nonetheless, it was almost hilarious this week when everybody was talking about Jimbo Fisher's play calling and how he went, instead of kicking a field goal on 3rd and 2 and making a 2-score game, he called some rollout pass that got sacked and took him out of field goal range. And what he said was, those were the right calls. The players didn't make the plays. Holy smokes. How'd that go over in the locker room? Probably not too well. Nonetheless, this is been an interesting week because Shad has been in London, and we've seen a lot of detail about the Jaguars and playing at Wembley, and a couple of things that Josh Scobie did there. And I mean, Khan met with the mayor of London, Boris Johnson, and he met with the director of big events in London, and all kinds of things. And he even said that he's been very impressed with the warm reception that he's gotten from so many London fans. So the Jaguars, who are signed up to play one game every year and will play the 49ers on October 27th next year, seem to have already been embraced as so-called London's team. I will tell you that Shad said, when he was asked at this Leaders in Sports conference, hey, doesn't the London Jaguars have a nice ring to it? And he said, for one game a year, make no mistake, we're the Jacksonville Jaguars. A nice ringing endorsement for not only the team staying here, but for an awful lot of people to come here to games and to maybe consider North Florida as an international base for their American businesses. I'm Sam Kavaris. That's the Nimnik Sports Video Update.